Welcome back. Just because school is out does not mean your lunchbox dilemmas are over.
In fact, it might be even harder to figure out what to give the kids right now between unstructured summer days and camps. I was just talking about this a half an hour ago. Every time we have to make lunch or dinner, it's like stress city for my husband and I. But we are getting some better for you options from expert nutritionist Carrie Lupoli, who's back on Great Day on 9A. Thanks for being back, Carrie.
Thanks for having me. Yes, this can be really stressful for parents.
So stressful.
Because there's so much out there, and like reading labels and understanding what's going on, especially we know right now there's a lot of talk about the extra ingredients in our processed foods, but yet they're the easiest to grab and go. So how do we think about our kids and their health and the long-term impact of some of the garbage that's in some of the food with still simple, easy options?
Because the convenience, there are times where you need it.
You can't deny it. You need things to be convenient. So I kind of brought some things here that are so, I call them no-brainer swaps. And there are some things here okay, I brought this out because I polled a whole bunch of young moms and they all said granola bars are a thing that they give their kids because we think they're healthy. But I'm gonna warn people about the granola bar because it really is nothing but sugar. And we really are getting no nutrients from it. And this is the thing. You know how they say you are what you eat? You are what you absorb. And that's actually way more important. So if we are eating a lot of salt, sugar, fat, and a lot of things that we can't pronounce in the labels, we are not absorbing any of it. We're getting no nutritional value. We're simply just putting empty calories with a lot of refined sugars into our bodies. Not good for kids. So what do? So there's a couple of swaps that we can do. We want more protein in our kids' diets because even if it's healthy, if it's fat and carbs only, we really are not balancing our blood sugar, which is what we need more than we need to worry about calories. So healthier options plus protein is going to be huge. So yogurt, when we're looking at yogurt, we want to have more protein in it than carbs. And a lot of the times we think it's healthy, but it's really like eating ice cream. So you want lesser carbs than you have protein in it.
And there's a lot of sugar in certain yogurts too.
Exactly.
Especially the ones geared and marketed towards the children.
Exactly. But you'll see that in the label. If you see carbs, and that number is higher than protein, stay away. Super easy to learn.
That's a great thing.
Cereals, a lot of cereals are just carb bombs. And if we put milk in it, we think milk has protein. It really doesn't, has more sugar actually in it. And so if we did something like a Catalina Crunch, they actually have protein in it. So I love this for my kids. They have a Fruit Loops alternative.
Love it. 11 grams
Cinnamon
of protein
Toast Crunch.
too.
Yep, exactly.
That's awesome.
And this has a lot of fiber in it too, it says, right?
Which is huge, right. So when we talked about the granola bars, I'd like to be able to replace it with a protein bar. Now there are some protein bars. They're my kid tested approved. Aloha bars are great. You can get these at Costco.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
The RX bars.
The RX bars, they're fudgy. These you can get at Costco. And this is a quick grab and go fruit alternative. And
it's like that fruit leather, right?
Yes, yes, and there's nothing in it. So when you're looking at ingredients, like an almond milk, my kids will have smoothies or protein muffins with protein powder. And almond milk has a lot of garbage in it too. We think it's really healthy. But if you just see almonds and water, bam, you're good with that. These are Simple Mills is a great brand that has nothing, no gluten in it. Gluten actually wreaks havoc on all of our bodies. So little things like this you can throw in there. I have turkey jerky, I have string cheese. These are egg white wraps, and they're nothing but protein. They come made.
Wow.
You can wrap them up like protein. I mean, you could, kids love this actually. And then almond flours. And here's the thing, some of my parents that I'll talk to say, my kids don't like this, my kids don't like that. But here's what's crazy. In most processed food, well, this is the thing. It depends what we're feeding them normally. Because in most processed food, we have something called a Bliss Point. They actually have scientists that work in most of our manufactured foods to chemically make the food taste really good, so you need to have more one. That is why you get addicted.
Like that. That is so sad.
If we start removing some of that from our house, it's just 1% at a time, and start doing
your brain.
And then you will start to crave these. These cookies do not taste any different than a regular cookie, and there's no gluten in them, and they're actually really yummy. Our cheese and cracker charcuterie always has these kind of crackers, and my kids don't know the difference now because they just don't have any other options.
And sometimes if we just give it to them and not make a big deal out of it. I think that sometimes, you know,
Right.
people are always giving their kids choices, but the more you give their choices, they're just going to need to eat what you put down.
well,
front of
they
them.
all look the same, right?
Exactly. We have to be okay with the choices. Like, I'm like, okay, you can have
Yeah.
this or you can have this,
Right.
Right.
But
That's true.
when we have
Yeah.
this as a choice or some of those other things, because sometimes we think our kids should have the extra sweet, and if we just think they should have the extra sweet after every meal, they're going to get used to that. So it's like, what are we modeling at home, but what are we providing at home? Because, you know, I used to not love salad, and now, like, I crave a good
Yeah,
salad,
same, me
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
It just depends what we're putting in our body normally, and when we absorb more nutrients, people talk a lot about how this costs more, but when you absorb more nutrients, you're not eating quite at that same
Right.
level. You can eat an entire bag of Oreo cookies.
Right,
Right, for
right.
sure.
Carrie, where
right.
can we find you for more information?
CarrieLupoli.com, on my Instagram channel where I go live every morning to teach all sorts of different things. So hang out with me there.
All right, and you can also hang out with Carrie and I on Mommyhood Unscripted. Scan that QR code. She comes back for some great episodes sharing her wealth. Carrie Lupoli, thank you so much. And